So Star Wars Outlaws is gonna be this third-person action-adventure game set between the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi timeline. It is important to know that this isn't some kind of Star Wars simulation. The game very much has quite a bit of the Ubisoft formula in it, whether it's the combat, with animations that don't look up to date, from a AAA studio, mediocre facial expressions with those typical lifeless faces that are pretty much becoming characteristic for Ubisoft games. NPC intelligence looks very bare bones and just mostly functional yet again, and stealth seems like the same thing we have seen over and over again, with NPCs not giving the slightest crap about bodies lying on the ground right in front of them. It's also that kind of stealth implementation with some vegetation in areas devoid of meaningful or authentic world building. Of course, the graphics are not particularly impressive for a pretty late 2024 title either. It certainly can look quite beautiful at times, but some of the textures specifically look quite dated. Well, it is a good thing. Ubisoft doesn't have to reinvent the wheel to still make a game that is at least somewhat entertaining and enjoyable to spend your time in. But what's it even about? You're basically playing as an outlaw. She's called Kay Vess. That means no character customization here, which is probably a bummer for dedicated Star Wars fans, who I imagine would have loved to go crazy here with a detailed Star Wars themed character creator. Other than that, the concept of playing a character that isn't well established actually sounds interesting to me. I think this allows for a sense of progression and character development that may perhaps be harder to achieve with a well-known character. The game world itself consists of 5 planets, plus some space areas for fighter battles. It seems like massive entertainment have put quite a bit of effort into the environmental storytelling, like you've got NPCs discussing current events, various faction members roaming around, and Imperial troops searching you, that kind of stuff. Combat-wise, it looks like they want to encourage you to take the tactical approach with pretty standard cover-based shooting and using stealth and your companion to get the upper hand on your enemies. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not convinced by the stealth implementation, coupled with the underwhelming intelligence of your enemies. Something that I perceived as a pretty clear positive is the faction system. There are 5 main factions, and the actual cool thing here is that your actions will have consequences as you either build, maintain, or destroy your reputation, whether it's because you, perhaps by accident, attacked their territory in the open world, or you just pissed them off on purpose. Each of these factions seems distinct enough and offers different opportunities from my understanding. The status of your reputation ranges from extremely good to extremely bad, and everything in between, so you certainly can't go around in this game just aimlessly and without thought attacking anybody and everyone. We already had access to some side activities, like betting on alien horse races, which does add some flavor to the world. Generally, the actual open world wasn't really a highlight just yet, because of how restricted it was in the section that was accessible. Some aspects here are convincing, but the underwhelming parts outweigh them when you're looking at the price tag of 70 euros for the cheapest version, and this can go as high as 130 euros for the Ultimate Edition. This studio is always going for these high prices, but the product itself doesn't justify spending that amount on a game that will be on sale for 60 or 70% off in a couple months anyways. I believe it was back in January when a Ubisoft tie-up said gamers need to be comfortable with not owning their games. Perhaps Ubisoft has to get comfortable with us not pre-ordering every single thing they're putting out.